fight what I can't see.
You're not fighting the drug itself. You're fighting what's behind the drug.
I can't fight what I can't see.
We know what drugs does to us physically. We know how it destroys families. We know how it emotionally destroys us, and we know how it financially destroys us. But there's a root to it, and the root is demonic.
I'm tired of fighting what I can't see.
You're fighting evil spirits, and they want to use you, and when you die, they go to somebody else.
I can't fight what I can't see.
If you don't get the weapons, you're going to lose.
But if you watch this video, you'll be able to understand and recognize who you're fighting and what you couldn't see before. And you'll get set free if you watch this video. And you'll stay set free. Learn how to maintain it. But you know, we can't fight what we can't see.
When you were using and you heard the voices and you saw the shadows out of the corner of your eye, those were real. Who do you think told you to go use? Who do you think told you and convinced you that it will be all right once you just use a little and you can make it up? False promises. Now, if there was an organ in me and you that this desire came from, well, you know what? You and I would be the first ones to run to a doctor and say, hey, take this organ out and put it on the shelf so that these desires and these feelings would go away. But it's not an organ. It isn't physical. Not that there isn't a physical effect, but the bottom line is it's spiritual. But I want you to know that there is a way and there is help. And I'm stretching out my heart to you and my hand to you. There's no coincidence that you're watching this video. Obviously, you need help. What I want to bring you today is information to free you. The choice is yours. Every day we make a choice. And today I'm asking you to make the right choice. Sometimes choices don't feel good, but you know the right thing to do. Because you're either going to end up in jail. Your choice. Here. In a grave. It's your choice. Do you want to end up here? Or here? In a park and being normal again? It's for you. And you can do it. Make the choice today. Hi, my name is Guy Iannello. I'm an ex-drug addict and alcoholic. You've gotten this video today for a specific reason. Maybe you feel like you're fenced in, caged in, bound by drugs or alcohol. Maybe you're a mother that occasionally drinks or uses drugs on the weekend, or you're a father, or you're one of the children, or you're a businessman. It doesn't matter what you are. Drugs and alcohol is not a respecter of person. Even if you use a little bit, if it has control over you and you don't have control over it, something's not right. You are fenced in. You are bound. Some of you are sitting there in guilt and condemnation. Some of you have lost your families, your loved ones. You've lost your jobs. You may be in a hospital right now. You may be in jail right now. You may be on the street and somehow you're watching this video. You may be in a drug program. It doesn't matter where you are, and it doesn't matter who you are. Drugs is a killer. Now, I was a drug addict for over 20 years and in the drug world. I tried to play the big man, ended up turning into a beggar. Because by using drugs, it always gives you big ideas. It always has many promises of a better life and a better feeling. But when you wake up the next day, you're back to that same torment. And one of the great things that we need to have is freedom. I've been in and out of jail. I've had people look at me as like the black sheep of the family, you know? And maybe you're there right now. But there is freedom. There truly is freedom. You have to come to a point right now where it's not that you want to get off the drugs and alcohol. Yes, you do. But you know what? You've got to have a desire to want a whole new life. Because if you don't want a whole new life, you'll never get off the drugs and alcohol. I used to get great freedom riding my bike. There's something wonderful and a great sensation about the wind blowing through your hair and the wind blowing off of your body. It's different than driving in a car because you're compact. But on the bike, there is a freedom. And that freedom and sensation I was looking for to get off the drugs and alcohol. I was desiring that freedom. The problem was, when I got off the bike, I was still bound by the drugs and alcohol. But I can tell you today that when Jesus Christ came in my life and freed me from the addictions and the desires of alcohol and drugs, I can get back on this bike and ride and be free. And when I get off, I'm still free. There's the difference. Ride with Jesus today. Accept Him. Walk in the freedom that He has for you, and He paid the price for you on the cross so that you can ride whether you're on the bike or off. I got to a place where I began to cry out to God because nothing in the natural realm helped me. And I believe in God. Didn't know who He was. And I began to cry out to Him saying, help. In fact, when I used to get high around the people I was with, I used to before I would take a hit, I would say, God, if I die, take me home. Because see, I knew I was going to either end up dead or in jail. I didn't know if I was going to end up free, but I started crying out to God for freedom. And He answered my prayer. But one of the things He wanted me to do was to show Him. How bad do you want it? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? And I went and checked into a detox place. And I had no problem detoxing. And when I came out and I looked around my house, I realized I had lost everything. I pawned everything. It was like a shell there. And I was sitting in one of these meetings, and I wanted to share something. I wanted to share an experience that I had. And a voice came to me and said, share it with me, so I did. And the voice returned and said, look around the room and tell me how much more spiritual growth you'll get. And I looked around and I realized I wasn't going to get any more. And I said, none. And he said to me, seek more. So I was driving home in my car, and a thought came to me. And the thought was about reading the Bible. And I said, nah, I never read the Bible. I don't know anything about the Bible. It's got too many these, those, and thous in it. Well, when I got home, I asked my roommate, I said, you know, I think I need more spiritual growth. And he handed me a Bible. And he invited me to come to a service with him. So I did. And people were worshiping God and praying in this funny language and so forth. And at first I was a little afraid. But I said, what do I got to lose? I've done everything. So I ended up going to church with my friend. And I remember the preacher saying, you needed to ask Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior into your heart. And he said it specifically to me, it felt like. Well, I didn't know anything about Jesus. I remember being, as I brought up, I was an altar boy, and but I never believed that you could have a relationship with God. And I didn't understand the spiritual realm. So I went home, I took a nap, I got up, and I have an 80-pound Doberman dog. So I went down to the pool, and I got this Bible, and I laid it down next to me, and my dog was walking around the pool. And I remember that this preacher said to me, you need to ask Jesus in your heart. So I said, look it. I said, God, if you're out there, because I don't know. Because see, I began to reflect on how many people I hurt in my drug use, my drug dealings, how many families I destroyed. All of these things began to affect me.